Ahoy, one and all. It's Vivi, aka Villaval, and at the moment you have the pleasure of being tuned in to Side Jams with Bryan Reesman.
Hey everybody, this is Bryan Reesman, host of Side Jams, here with a new episode. We have Liv Kristine, who's you know her from many different groups, and you also know her. This is who has her sixth solo album out right now, River of Diamonds. It's her first one in a number of years, actually.
Yeah, it's been 8-9 years. Yeah, since my last solo album. So it was about time.
Well, the last one also was very goth, kind of goth rock oriented too, which I really like because I'm a closet goth. And the new album is interesting because it combines all the different elements of your style. So a song like Gravity has that ethereal metal thing. Some of the other tracks are like, even the title track is more kind of gothic and gothic rock and flavored. But then like do a couple covers, including True Colors by Cyndi Lauper, which shows off your pop side, which is something that actually did come out in some of your earlier solo albums.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. It kind of sums up everything, and the it feels great because I'm 47 years old now, and I'm standing in the middle of my life. And River of Diamonds feels like my very first album. It is the first album of my second life half, to put it this way. So if I wouldn't have been able to release an album, I would have released a book. Something had to come out after 9 years of silence and nearly, yeah, 30 years, more than 30 years in the music business.
And on top of that, you moved from Germany to Switzerland last year. You got married in 2021, and then you moved from
That's
Germany to
right.
Switzerland. So you've had a lot of changes.
Absolutely, because yeah, it's exactly 1 year and 5 days ago since I got settled here in Switzerland with a new job, and really getting my stuff into this place, and getting to know the country, the people, the mentality, and everything. It's been an amazing year, and it was well, my son's grown up, so the bird had to fly,
Yeah.
and mom had to fly too. So it's
Uh,
just it was that point in a mom's and son's life where we said, like, okay, so now it's time for um for yeah, getting independent, and for more freedom, and for growth. And it's important to let the bird fly, to really see that, okay, it's still my son. Of course, he will always be my son, but he's grown up now. I think it's very healthy.
well, I remember 2006 because twice I went to Germany and interviewed you, and we had lunch on this either it's like a mountainside. I
Yes,
don't remember where that
yes,
was, um, but I remember you used to call him Little Leon.
yes,
I would see
exactly.
pictures of
That's
him
right.
growing up like it's Little Leon. I'm like, he's not little anymore. He's
No, he's 2 meters tall, and he's like, much taller than I am. So he's he's nearly 20 years old. So it's amazing how time flies. Yeah, yeah. I remember that time we met at the cafe. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting too because now you're a teacher. So you
hmm
moved. When did you start teaching?
That was well, actually, as my son entered primary school when he was 6 years old, he that obviously we chose a private school because we were taking Leon on
Mhm.
tour, and not every time, but
I
most of the
remember,
time.
yeah, at
So
least one time in New York, I think I remember seeing him.
yes, yes, exactly. So being a part of the teachers team uh, gave me some freedom. So um, I used to teach at Leon's primary school, and that was well, that's 14 years ago, right? That was when my teaching process started. I didn't study that. I studied languages, linguistics, ancient languages, language acquisition, but I never took that part you need to become a teacher. But it was always something that it's always been in my blood. So when Leon's primary school had the headmaster asked me to support his school, I did, which gave us some freedom to take Leon on the road. And then it just continued, like with every school. that Leon went to, or just private schools, or we call it a people school where grown-ups can go and educate themselves as well, like from yoga to languages to baking and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cooking.
Like
So
secondary
have a
education here, I think, or like
exact
yeah.
yeah. So and then in 2016, when my life was just a terrible mess, and I lost my income source. I was quite lucky to still have some connections, from the
Yeah.
past. So I contacted a couple of people, and I actually I got myself a job, and I in 2016 I got the chance to become a teacher for children within the autistic spectrum,
Mm.
which is something that we I grew up with children and people within the autistic spectrum, so I got some experience, and I feel great empathy for these lovely human beings, special people.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to get into this place, and then uh, it just grew and grew, and then I started working with children from homes, growing up without parents,
Wow.
children with Down syndrome. It's been an amazing experience and an amazing journey. So when COVID happened in Europe, I was not dependent on touring, going on stage. I mean, that had been kind of not very important throughout the years
Yeah.
since 2016. I really had to get my life sorted out. I needed to get that daily life sorted out, for my family and for myself, find a new place to live and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We've been moving around, and then COVID happened, and I had a safe financial source. So I expanded that occupation, and now, yeah, I'm in Switzerland. I'm working at the primary school for children with special needs, and the thing is still growing, and I just love it. I love it, and it's an inner call, because as I already mentioned, I didn't study that as well as music.
Yeah.
Those are the two things I didn't study,
Yeah.
and I'm doing it for a living. So it's interesting, and yeah, just surrender to it, just do it. But it took some time for me to realize that I had to get through some a very rough period. I had to dissolve some blockages, I had to dissolve the trauma, I had to get rid of some dusty layers to really see what I want to do in my life. How can I serve? How can I be really authentic?
I think it's interesting, you have this other side. Do you think teaching now is helping to enrich your art by having something outside of just doing music?
Absolutely, yes. Well, of course, a settled financial source gives you safety. And I realized that when I feel safe, I am more creative.
Mm.
I think that's for all of us. It's just something that you have to grasp. You have to learn. When you felt unsafe, how is it to be at a place where you're safe? So when you felt both, it's actually it's a it's a you've come a long way when you can just feel safe in your life and just do what is authentically you. So yes, I have to say that having both, being able to teach what I really love, and I see a lot of growth. Of course, the children are mentally and physically growing, yeah, year by year, month by month, even. Uh, but you see that what you're doing really changes something. You can change something, and all these connections and this empathy. Children children don't fake, and I just love
Mm.
this um, just honesty about children. I love that, and it makes me as a grown up, as an experienced grown up, see life from a different view sometimes, especially when you're working with children within the autistic spectrum. It's amazing
Yeah.
how you sometimes you can just step outside of yourself and just watch reality, or even watch yourself trying to deal with reality with your monkey mind, with everything you have to take care of
Yeah.
coming from the outside. Just watch yourself and actually smile about it. You can actually smile about it, and I think that's very healthy. And it's something I also write about in my lyrics. Exactly that thing when you actually learn how to take change your perspective. It's so healthy,
Yeah.
but it takes a while to get there.
It does. How much does performing in front of people help being a factor in terms of dealing with kids if they're moody or if they have certain issues?
Yeah, it's every there's a different setting to every morning, to every class, to every lecture, to every yeah, to every end of the final, the final class of the day. There is always a new setting there. The mood might change, then you have 22 happy children, and then you have one child crying because something happened at home, and then you have another 6 children crying along to that because something happened. You Everything changes within, or can change within, a couple of minutes. So it's very important to be ready for everything. So when I enter stage, I played a full show in front of 5 people, and I guess most bands would just okay. So the show's not going to happen because there are just 5 people out there. But I think it's important to be prepared for everything, to accept that, and to always feel that each one is important. And I enjoy that moment just as much as playing in Wacken for 60,000 people. I was being on the stage in
Yeah.
Wacken. For me, it was like, okay, so now I'm trying to tune into every person out there, as I'm doing,
Yeah.
a tiny club somewhere downtown, yeah, Boston. But it makes you smile a little bit about yourself, and having stage experience uh, helps me a lot being a teacher, where there is so much going on, and the audience is always very vivid. Very, it can change suddenly, and you have so many different characters in there. So yeah, it's a very cool question, by the way.
It's interesting. I have a friend whose son is autistic. He's an adult now, but she dealt with she had a lot of confrontations with the school at one point, because at one point he had a teacher who didn't really understand him because she didn't understand autistic children. So what in Switzerland, what are the sort of prevailing attitudes in terms of kids with autism? I mean, how much understanding is there there?
There is more. It's the plan is that everybody, yeah, it's integration. Everybody should have the chance to go to a primary school, a Swiss primary school. There used to be schools for, like special schools, but this is kind of dissolving. We try, or Swiss politicians try to make everybody feel like one, and everybody should feel accepted. And we have refugees, we have people from the Ukraine coming now. So I think it's a very healthy path to take. But of course, you do have children and young people who are too handicapped to be at a normal Swiss primary school. So then we try to give this child, this yeah, person, a one-to-one um, following up. So there is always one
Yeah.
special person looking after and taking care of this one child. so that they can get the possibility to integrate in the class and feeling comfortable in the classroom. It's not always possible, but that's the plan actually. So I think it's a great way. It's a positive frequency. I embrace that. We've been doing that in Scandinavia for 20, 25 years already.
So obviously you've been in Switzerland now for a year.
Mm-hmm.
When we spoke years and years ago, I always remember that you wanted to go back to Norway.
Yeah.
You know, you wanted to go back to your homeland, and it's interesting you went to Switzerland. Had you thought about moving to Norway?
Yes, yes, yes. And we're still going to move to Norway, but it's not for now because it feels great to have settled in Switzerland. And Leon, my son, is doing his education, so and he's in Germany. So it's for me, it's kind of it's great to be in Switzerland because it's not that far.
It's closer.
It's just closer. It's 3.5 hours. But
Oh, wow.
we will be moving to Norway. I still got my Norwegian passport. Leon has his Norwegian passport. Uh, that's his choice where he wants to live on this planet. And we've been traveling a lot, so he knows.
Really?
Yeah, we've been traveling. He was on the road as he was a kid, so he's seen many places. He knows 3 or 4 languages, so he can choose. But we will go. My husband Michael and I. My husband's Danish.
Yeah.
We will go back to Norway in a couple of years, 3 or 4 years, I guess. Yeah. So it's good for him to
Yeah.
be closer to his family and for me to be closer to my family. Yeah, of course, I miss my sister. I miss my parents. I miss my sister.
I remember your sister. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I met her the first time I saw you guys in Germany.
Yes, exactly.
My God, 2006.
2006, yes. Leon.
So I've not been to Germany since 2006, which is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, yeah. Leon was a little more
Yeah.
than a year old.
And I know you've been through a lot in the last few years, but I think it's cool that you've managed to turn it around and decide what's important to you.
Thank you.
There are a lot of people who don't handle those things well,
Yeah.
and I understand it. I mean, it's tough. It's a shock. I mean, I was surprised, and I said okay, but yet it seems like I don't know. I mean, I look at your social media, then I also when I listen to the songs, and it feels like you're looking forward to other chapters in your life.
You're right.
And there's a danger sometimes too of repetition where you suddenly realize, like, I've been living in this apartment almost 24 years. I'm like, I think I need to change. Was it, I'm assuming it was difficult at first, but then how liberating was it as that process went on for you? Was there a certain point that you turned the page and you realized was a change in your mindset? You said out of the monkey mind.
Yeah,
Was
the
there
monkey mind.
point you realized that?
I kind of, as I was ready to change my perspective and really see that, okay, that's your monkey mind. Okay, it's not you. It's not the real you. It's your monkey mind making up a certain reality or realities. And there is something much, much greater. There is something that is, I see that there is, if you actually manage to enter your soul and to clean up for real, you see who you really are. And that was actually, I see the process as being fulfilled in 2022 actually. So that was when my album was ready too, and ready to get released in 2023. So that process had to had to get, I had to fulfill that process. So I can now really say that everything I experienced, it was all worth it because of where I am today. And I got my creativity back. I feel safe now, and it feels great to be 47 years old. And there are more albums to come. There is a poetry collection coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So it feels like all these layers of dust are just gone now, and I can really uh, grasp the process of being creative and being authentic. And it's something I would really like to give you the courage to do as well. And one of the songs I I released on an EP a couple of years ago, Have Courage, Dear Heart. I got it tattooed as
Yes.
well, just underneath my heart. And that was 2018, 2019 when I met I met Michael, and my now husband and my soul partner. And I had decided to be without singing, be without, no performance anymore, no band. I just wanted to
Yeah.
quit the whole thing. Music business sucks and all that stuff, and court cases and all the bullshit. Sometimes I found myself in front of court and I didn't even know what I was doing there. And I just wanted to quit it all, and I quit. But I realized that I'm not being myself. So when Michael turned up in my life, he gave me the real kick that I needed. He pushed me, and that was when I released Have Courage, Dear Heart. So yeah, it takes a lot of courage to go through that process, but it's very relieving and it's very freeing in the end.
So what is the most fulfilling aspect of teaching for you?
Serving, serving, yeah, and strengthening children's voices. Not telling them to be loud. No, I'm telling them to more to to calm down, because there is education, there is a lesson going on. All right, but strengthening their voices means uh, staying in touch with the child within you, staying
Okay.
in touch with creativity, and if possible, just go out there and play with other children, and don't sit in front of the computer, of the screen. Spend time in nature, and if there's something you feel scared about, if something you feel upset about, talk about it. We're done with this, being a nice girl, and boys don't cry and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
We need to teach children to show their emotions, so that when they grow up, they don't have to suppress anything, because in the end that feels to depression of emotions, right? So if that
Yeah.
starts in childhood, you have a trauma, and you need to dissolve a trauma. uh, so if we can let our children show their feelings, show their emotions, talk with them, spend time with them, show empathy, uh, show them support, show that they're one, they're so special, but still there is this whole thing, this whole world, this community, this family. And if we take care of each other, uh, that's a beautiful and very safe path to walk. And nobody's going to be alone. Nobody's going to be depressed in the end. And you know, we can avoid all these traumas that people are trying to dissolve. Trauma is the word. I think it's been the word for a couple of years, and I think we really need to start from there. Try to avoid it. Depression.
Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you. It was great to actually catch up and chat with you again.
Thank you.